Hello, and welcome to my 5-minute video on exceptions in object-oriented programming, specifically in Java. Exceptions arise when something in your program is wrong, and it can occur either when you run the program or when writing the code for the program. There are two types of exceptions: runtime and compile time. Runtime errors occur specifically when something in the operation of your program has gone horribly wrong and it has no choice but to crash. For example, say I have two variables, x and y, and I want to divide x by y. If at some point y equals 0, then I'm going to end up dividing x by 0. Well, that's mathematically impossible. And so I'm going to generate what's known as a divide by 0 error. This is a runtime error that's going to crash your program and make it, well, inoperable. Compile time errors, on the other hand, occur when the compiler finds something wrong. For example, if I'm reading a file and I don't address the problem that the file might not exist, the compiler will complain and say, no, you can't do that. This might result in an I/O error, or an I/O exception. So you have to fix that before you run the program. This is also known as a checked exception as opposed to the runtime unchecked exception. And in the case of the checked exceptions, the compiler will say, no, you need to handle that before you actually run the program, because there's a very, very real chance that this could happen, and I know it, so I'm going to force you to handle it. Unchecked errors are much more like the divide by 0 error, that the compiler doesn't know that this is going to happen. You probably don't know that that's going to happen. At least you shouldn't know that you're going to divide by 0, because that would be an error. And so the program runs just fine, but might crash out eventually. So you might be asking, well, okay, so how do I handle these errors? How do I address them? Well, in the case of compile time errors, checked exceptions, you actually have to handle them. And the way you do that is with a try catch block. In this case, I'm reading a file and I'm catching a file not found exception. So in a try catch block, the program goes and starts in the try. It attempts to say read a file. Okay. But say hi.txt doesn't exist. So it's going to generate this file not found error. But instead of crashing, it's going to say, there's a catch block here. I'm going to just, take that. And how about we print out file not found. That's probably a good thing to write, yeah. Let people know that the file's just not there. You need to try again. And in the catch block, you can catch any type of exception you want. You can even catch all exceptions. However, catching all exceptions isn't good design, because exceptions can often be quite necessary to tell you what's wrong with your program. For example, if you have an array indexing error, an error that crashes when you're testing your program and says you're going out of bounds, you're getting an index out of bounds error, is going to be invaluable in debugging. and also in letting the user know what's wrong. So you shouldn't catch all exceptions generally as a rule, sort of, as a suggestion. But there are some that you really should catch and handle, and in fact, as said before, with checked exceptions, you have to. Well, I hope you enjoyed this very, very short explanation of exceptions in Java and other object-oriented programming languages.